This week's episode is brought to you by gifts. Gifts can accelerate a relationship, force someone to like you, or even offer someone protection on a cold, windy night. You can also re-gift something, like when I gave my cousin Gary the coffee mug that said epic shit. Gifts. Isn't the holiday season fantastic? Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Root Beer.
And today we're talking about a new beginning. The new mechanic for Vanguard has finally been revealed. And we're going to talk about that today as well. We're going to be referring to the new rules that Bushiroad put in place that just affect the game on the whole. It has nothing to do with new cards, really. So finally, we have new content for days, and it totally isn't copying the thing that's also on the same channel. You know what? Forget it.
What? No, they're the memers. You can't take them seriously.
I mean, we're on the same. You know what? Forget it. So, what the first thing we should really look at here is Bushiroad put in place some new rules that focus on the already existing mechanics of the game, and for example, one of the things is they changed how a mulligan works. So before, a mulligan was before the game started, you put back any cards you didn't wanted, shuffled, and redrew. And the way the new mulligan system works is you put any cards you don't want on the bottom of the deck, draw the same number of cards, and then shuffle, which I'm guessing is to cut down on the chances of redrawing 3 heal triggers that you put back. Again.
Well, it's not. So it does a couple things. It means that if you're putting back triggers, those triggers are going to be less likely to matter in an average game, unless if you find a way to shuffle your deck. So putting back triggers means that it's suddenly now very important to find at least one shuffle effect at one point.
But you do shuffle.
You do shuffle. It's just after you redraw instead of before.
Okay. My bad. Okay.
So it's bottom, draw, then shuffle instead of...
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah,
I misunderstood when I first read it then.
Yeah.
All right. So another thing that this does is it increases the odds you actually draw what the fuck you need. So nothing more that I love is putting back 3 triggers and just drawing the same 3 triggers again. That is now much less likely to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
now instead of the 16 and 47, you're now looking at 13 and 44, which is just
better. It is better.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those things where it seems really obvious in hindsight, where you're like, why didn't you just have that from the beginning? Ugh, all right, whatever.
In their other game, in Weiss Schwartz, the Bushiroad's other game, you just discard, which would be much worse.
Depending on what you were, if you were a Grandler, that'd be better-ish, depending. But
well, it's worse because deck out is an actual way to lose the game in Vanguard, where it's not in Weiss.
What do you do in Weiss?
In Weiss, whenever you have 0 cards in deck, you immediately reshuffle and deal a damage to yourself.
But why didn't Vanguard just have that? I would have been okay with it.
I don't know.
I mean, when are you going to be at 4 damage by the time you get the deck out?
They want Vanguard to be a faster game than Weiss, so they actually just want a million endgame conditions.
Yeah. I mean, dealing the damage to yourself is a way to do that, but...
Well, no, because then, if you're playing Gramble, you could mill yourself just to deal a damage and get another CB or whatever. That'd be pretty annoying.
Yeah. Or, Genesis or Pale Moon or DIs or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another thing they changed was G Assist, where before, if you didn't have the grade needed to ride, you check top 5. If you find it, put it in your hand, and then you take 2 cards from your hand and G Zone and remove them from the game. And now they just cut it down to just removing 2 cards from your hand, which is literally just because of this new format, which doesn't have any G units in it. So that's cool. It's fine, I guess. Depending on what deck you are, you care a lot or not at all.
Right.
But it's fine, I guess. And then this one I think affects the game most profoundly, which is they changed how the once per turn clause activates.
So now instead of just one activation, it's one resolution, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You can resolve your once per turn effect.
Basically, in the old thing where it had the big paragraph in parentheses that says, even if you don't pay cost, you can't use it for the rest of the turn. Just forget about that.
So yeah, it used to be called use it or lose it, and then now it's if you can choose to do it whenever the opportunity presents itself, and then after you use it, it's done. The way they did this before was they had effects for like if you use this effect, like if you do the thing, this unit loses that ability until end of turn. So now it's just they're the same thing, which also means that you can do the Ace's effect twice and get a double restand, which that's cool, I guess. Victoplasma. Anybody else that really benefits from that?
Victor's the Victor stride skill now matters.
Yeah.
Like,
You're also
it was so awkward because you'd have so many effects that were like on attack, like stand some shit.
Yeah.
But then his stride skill would also stand some shit, so you just have way too much standing.
Yeah. So but now you have to be crystal clear. You're like, all right, using Victor's stride skill, I stand.
Which
this.
is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It opens up more lines of play.
Yeah.
Because now you can just be like, now I can attack with my like you said for Victoplasma, right? Like now I can attack it and like actually do the thing. And like you said for like the Ace and Victoplasma, you can now get triple attacks with one drive check.
So Victoplasma became the new start. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's twice as expensive, and takes up 2 cards in your G zone. But if you fail, you're still not like just out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, also, I'm super happy because that means I can do boards where I have the Big Belly Grade 3 and Crayon Tiger, and I don't have to attack a rear guard first. I can just be like,
right?
Oh, cool. So happy about this.
I do think the way they worded once per turn was pretty awkward.
Yeah.
Like, it made sense only when, like, once you heard it the first time, you're like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then, like, it would just keep coming up in, like, annoying ways. Like, Night Rose's GB2 is, like, another example of, like, just something very obnoxious.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I
actually like this change a lot. I think it opens up a bunch of new lines of play. It makes the game simpler.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense, like, you can, like, abilities now work how you want them to.
Mm-hmm. and also, you don't have to explain it to new people, which is
right.
going to be a major theme today of the barrier for entry has been shattered completely, more or less.
I think like getting new players into Stride Era was almost impossible.
Yeah, especially
there was so many like mechanics and keywords and things to do, and it was just so obnoxious because they were like, okay, now you have these things called strides. Oh, this card doesn't do anything right now because you don't have this other ability.
This stride doesn't get to do stride things because you don't have enough strides that you strode.
Yeah,
what?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely absurd. Like, the game, I guess I'm kind of, like, jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
But the game is going to be much simpler to teach people.
Yeah. And speaking of stride, one last piece of housekeeping here. The thing with stride is they have now changed the rules to, instead of both people having to be at grade 3 to stride normally...
that still works,
it's
but...
either it's that plus... if you have a grade 3 on your Vanguard circle at the start of your turn, you can stride anyway.
So you're telling me my opponent can't sit at grade 1 anymore and dirtle around?
Yes. And
my other question is, why didn't they do this before?
I was going to ask the same question. Why wasn't this implemented at least a year ago?
I mean, hindsight's 2020, I get. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Bushiroad, like, intentionally sat on this because they didn't. It probably just occurred to them.
Like,
oh yeah,
2 years in a row, Grade Stall decks gave the middle finger to Stride, and they only now figured out, hey, maybe we should just let people stride anyways.
I think they hired some new people who are like, you guys are retarded, and here's how to fix it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't use retarded. That was bad. You guys are stupid, and here's how we're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they got the guy who designed sets 11 and 12. Were like, dude, I'm sorry we fired you. Can you fix something? And he's like, hell yeah, I can fix something.
Like, they clearly hired somebody important.
Yeah.
Because
they were clearly thinking about this because they made stuff like Diehawk and the honorary professor stuff that could stride before your opponent was at grade 3, but they never just made it a universal rule. They kept making cards to try to address the problem.
Like Seabreeze, you really didn't like Seabreeze is the goddamn mascot for that. Although that being said, it isn't a bad card to still keep around, in that you can like if the opponent is stuck at grade 2, you can kind of like do Seabreeze and punch him in the teeth on your first grade 3 ride, which isn't a bad move by any means. Also, with everything flipping, everything else flips Seabreeze. What do you care?
I still think first ride is super important, even with these rules changes, because like if you're riding grade 3 first, like you're still giving your opponent first stride.
Yeah,
which is super dangerous. But now there's not a lot of like you're still gonna want to force your opponent up to grade 3 first.
Yeah. Also, you can guard with any grade, no matter what grade your Vanguard is, which doesn't...
Rest in peace, still Vampire.
Yeah.
Basically.
Also, the Witch Stride looks really stupid now.
Yes, it does. That card is fucking useless now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that card was bad before. Now it's just actually like, what?
Yep. They completely neutered some cards and whatever. I think it's a casualty that needed to happen, because it seems like the not being able to guard thing only really hurt people who were grade stuck. Like, I have a handful of 2s, and I just grew into my grade 1. I'm stuck on 0 I'm screwed. Like, you can at least, do something now.
And it comes up so infrequently. Like, it's really hard to notice, because like you just assume that people are guarding with something that's legal to guard with, right?
Yeah.
And it's incredibly obnoxious to teach new players like, oh, you can't guard with that because blah 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 blah. You're like, what?
Yeah.
So it makes it a whole lot better, I think.
Yeah. With that in mind, so Bushiroad has decided to reboot the game of Vanguard to an extent, and they're doing it. They're calling it Vanguard V Series, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's Vanguard V Series. They're also rebooting the anime along with it, and what we mean by that is they're going back to Aichi and Morikawa and Kai and Misaki and Kamui, like the original anime, just with all of these new mechanics, which we'll get into.
Hey, Root Beer.
Momently.
Are you watching the anime right now?
Sorta.
Have you seen? Are you caught up-ish?
Yeah, more or less.
Are they resetting time?
I don't know. It's a possibility. Everyone is speculating about that.
Well, that's what I said right when they showed the trailer for Vanguard V. I was like, oh, Chrono and or Geese is going to reset time.
Cool. So
without
gonna,
Chrono.
We're going to get a a Futurama style want to go around again type of thing, or
maybe. That was a good episode.
That was a good episode. Side note, I remember when that first aired on TV, when they, major spoilers for Futurama, who cares? Okay, whatever. Anyway, so when they go through the thing and they say, want to go around again, there was a white flash and it literally just went back to space. It seems to go on and on forever, but then you get to the end and the monkey starts throwing barrels at, literally, they perfectly closed the loop of the show. It was a perfect circle. And I loved it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, so I guess Vanguard's going to do that, hey, so want to go around it, and then I would love to see Vanguard V just have, Chrono and his pals, as little kids cameoing, just in the background somewhere.
Right.
I'd be cool with that. But aside from the anime, they also introduced a new mechanic, which is the imaginary gifts. And Root Beer, why don't you explain this to me? Because I'm still not quite there on it.
All right.
What is an imaginary gift, and why does it sound like just watching the keyboard cat in my head? An imaginary gift. Yeah.
All right. So the gifts are going to be these new archetypes that all the clans will start to fall into now. They've already told us that all 24 clans are being continued, and they'll get at least one of the 3 gifts attributes. So the gifts are these little new icons that go on grade 3s, I presume. They might put them on lower grade later, who knows.
I'm sure they will.
Are they on all grade 3s? Because it didn't look like Dio had one.
Oh.
I don't
think they
know.
are-
Like I was just
Like-
I just went by the art.
Maybe
yeah,
like new
from
boss grade 3s or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
from the start decks, it looks like all grade 3s had them so far.
Okay.
Because like the 13k vanilla grade 3 still had them.
Huh.
So gift icons are basically a new skill icon, like having Twin Drive or Intercept or whatever. So when you ride something with the gift icon, you can bestow one of 3 gift archetypes. So there's Excel, which is the offensive type, which gives you an extra front row rearguard circle that can't be boosted, and it gains 10,000 power on your turn. Then there's the Force gift, which is the balanced one. You choose a Vanguard or rearguard circle, put the gift marker on it, and the unit on that circle gains 10,000 power, and you can keep stacking it. So if you keep stacking more Force gifts, they'll just keep going up and up by increments of 10k.
So
It only goes up to 20k, right?
I don't know.
I think that
Like,
was
that's
just an
what they-
example. Like
That
where
was
they
the
said-
example they gave.
Yeah.
I think you can just keep stacking it. And
When-
then there's the
Alright.
Protect gift, where you add the marker to your hand, and it's basically a perfect guard.
Okay.
And the perfect guard gift does not have a grade, so it can't be guard restricted, but it can still be broken by Guy Kaiser because it still counts as a unit.
Yeah. So, someone described it as like each gift type is a faction. So like all these different clans are kind of going beyond the like nation borders, and falling into these. And they've revealed most of the clans falling under whatever gift type. So for Excel, it's Nova Grappler, Tachikaze, Pale Moon, Aqua Force, and Murakumo. Force is Spike Brothers, Royal Paladin, Shadow Paladin, Kagero, and Dimension Police. And Protect is Mega Colony, Oracle Think Tank, Grand Blue, and Dark Irregulars. So the remaining clans, we don't know where they fall. But there's been a good amount of speculation from people that, they can be in one thing or another. My guess is that Gold Paladin, there's 3 left for Excel, 4 left for Force, and 3 left for Protect. So I'm guessing Gold Paladin, Genesis, and Neo Nectar for Excel, Bermuda Triangle, Narukami, Great Nature, and Gear Chronicle for Force, and Link Joker, Angel Feather, and Nubatama for Protect. What do you think?
That seems reasonable, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really I like some of them have kind of like shocked me.
Mhm.
I guess.
Like,
Like-
Spike Brothers doesn't feel very Force-ish. I was expecting
But-
Excel.
You think about like how Force would work in like the current clan, and you're like, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's really hard for me to know. Like
Same.
DI wouldn't expect it to be Protect either,
Yeah.
Yeah, or Grand Blue.
right?
Yeah.
So I just don't have like a good sense for what they're planning, because there's like this could also fit with like how they want clans to operate in the future. Oh, and also some clans are getting these front triggers,
Oh, yeah. So,
and there's a new trigger type that only some clans are receiving. We don't know which clans or like by what rhyme or reason they'll give it to that clan, despite some people might be saying otherwise. But yeah, it's a trigger. When you trigger it, it gives 10k to your front row,
yeah.
which is pretty insane.
So far, they haven't revealed any stand triggers, which I'm guessing gives you, like, a raging hard-on.
Well, I mean, stand triggers are dead, which is great because they suck. So
But yeah, so also, when you said 10k to your front row, they've all triggers now give 10,000 when triggered.
Right.
And they've also increased shield values for criticals and heals. So crits are worth 15k shield now, and heals are worth 20.
and we don't know what fronts are, right?
I think they're 10k.
They're 10k, and then draws are still 5k.
Yeah.
Yes.
But draws are like much more likely to draw you in a 10k shield now, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They've kind of moved everything up. On top of that, grade 3s on are just 13k now, and grade 2s are 10k. Also,
I think that-
what?
I think they're keeping the same dynamic where, like, the majority are 10k, and then ones with powerful skills, quote unquote,
Yeah.
are 9k.
Yeah. And then also, grade 1s now have 10k shield, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
So
In
they've
all grade 3s are 13k base,
Yeah.
presumably.
so far. I mean,
Yeah. And I think I don't think we
So-
have confirmation on whether or not grade 1s will be 8 or 7k yet, because promo versions of some of the start deck cards are 8k. So, considering they're like promo half decks, they might have just nerfed it down for teaching purposes.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that they be 7k when you want a column of skills to kind of hit stage 1 or stage 2 guarding.
Yeah.
Because like with 13k base Vanguards, if you have like a 10k unit with a skill in front, like a grade 2, and then a grade 1 in the back, that would be 18.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for the grade 1s with skills to be 8k, unless you just don't want people to be able to guard. But that seems very unlikely. Or sorry, you don't want people to be able to hit, because then that would make draw triggers insane, because a 5k shield is so like are going to be so rare in the coming sets.
Yeah, and I think they've already shown that PGs are naturally 7k now, so if they're
Right,
going
so
up by 1k for everything, it would make sense that grade 1s are 8k.
Right. So I think my gut tells me by the reasoning I just mentioned, I would expect that grade 1s be 8k, and that your
Yeah.
grade 2 kind of stat line for effect grade 2 would be 10k. And so then it would be a huge detriment to have like a 7k or even 6k grade 1.
Yeah.
Or, a 9k grade 3. Or grade 2, sorry. 9k grade 3 would be quite a detriment.
Yes.
Although Diamantes might be base 11 now.
That would be cool. Make him go from 11 to 13.
Yeah.
I mean, if a lot of the cards revealed so far are just kind of retrains of cards from very early in Vanguard's history. Like, we already have another Alfred Early, another Blaster Blade, another Draconic Overlord, etc.
Another one. We have the art for what we all assume is Alfred King of Knights.
Yes, and we also have art for Amaterasu and Ashura Kaiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
So when we say reboot, we really mean a reboot. This is...
So are we just going to Amaterasu Sakuya for OGT?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be awesome. Now, when we're... Like, why would they do this where they kind of bump everything up in power equally for seemingly no reason? And what I mean by that is I'm betting the question, and that there is certainly a reason, which is Bushiroad decided to pull a Magic the Gathering and fucking split the game into formats.
Finally.
Awesome.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
So when this... Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, why don't you just go for it, explain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So when So Stride format was getting really, really out of hand. And if you think about like where we were at GBT 14 or where we're going to be at GBT 14 or where we are, whatever I think it's hit. So yeah, where we are at GBT 14. Heritage is really nuts. I think we can all agree that Heritage is pretty good card.
3 turns in a row, yay.
I mean, maybe. But you also look at how powerful like stuff like Dust is.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about like where do you go from here?
I mean,
Like-
the only way they were going to do it was either ban the crap out of everything or start fresh, and they chose the latter. So
Right. So that's not it. You could start banning stuff. You could print even more absurd cards, which are basically just strict upgrades of previous cards, which feels really bad.
yeah,
Or you can like print a bunch of early game shit and basically make the cards irrelevant, which is also bad. Or you can just say, well, let's just do some new shit.
yeah.
And they chose let's do some new shit. Now, why do I like this? Well, I'm one of the weird persons who really liked like it set GBT 9, not GBT, GBT 9-ish Vanguard. I love that area. I feel like with the Japanese restrictions, there was like a lot of like randomly playable, like a lot of the decks were like pretty close.
Yeah.
Like their skill still mattered, but the game was like kind of very simplistic, right? Which was kind of, I guess, a detriment. Like there wasn't a lot of interesting play, but there was a lot of, like making sure you keep advantage up, knowing matchups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I really would like more of that, but Vanguard just wasn't that at all. It was kind of like I got to do my thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So now they're going to have 3 different formats. They have your G format, which is the game as it is now with no additional cards.
So
it will never get additional cards.
Yeah, so it goes to the Bermuda set that we're getting in a couple months here, and the end. End of story, period, blah.
And it will be the tournament format until late this year. Basically until enough clans get supported from the new cards.
Good. Fucking good.
So they want to keep G format a format until enough clans get supported to make premium mean something.
And
So, because if
what
you
is
look
premium?
so premium is everything. Everything in G format plus everything in V.
Okay, now, what is the equivalent of? Is there like an equivalent of that in Magic?
Like, it would be like the equivalent of like Legacy.
Legacy.
Or like Pokemon, like, or like Yu-Gi-Oh! Traditional, you know, like, but Yu-Gi-Oh! I guess is not a good example. What's the Pokemon format where they just use everything? I don't even know.
I don't know either.
But so you have like G format, which is kind of like the static like placeholder format. Which I mean, G format will die, but kind of by design.
Yeah.
But it will be a major tournament format up until like late this year when enough quote unquote clans get supported for the new stuff. Because if you played premium and your opponent has a 13k, you know, Royal Paladin Vanguard, you know, and or you know, like Kagero and Royals have stuff, and OTT and whatever the other clan is, Nova Grappler, they all have like new cards, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone else is like, man, we don't have any new cards.
I mean, this is
My
what
brother's like, oh, an extra booster, I guess.
this is what it was like in the very, very beginning of the game, because obviously that's how the beginning of the game works, and they don't have enough cards yet, and you still have to sell it. So, but now they have enough of a card pool where they can lean on G format for a while.
Right. So we have this. I don't really know. There's no equivalent like a Magic format to G format. It's just kind of like a placeholder to like fix, you know, basically to like unite basically until the formats can make sense.
Yeah.
G format is basically going to be premium or like what's worthy of playing until premium gets situated like later in the future.
Yeah.
But premium is the intent, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the other format is standard, which is going to be V forward. So it's going to have no strides, no old cards.
No
Well,
G
I can't say no. I shouldn't say no strides, no G cards because we don't actually know that. We can just assume that.
For now.
Yeah.
No strides, no G guards. Which,
As we know, as far as we know.
yeah.
But it's only the new stuff. And personally, I was kind of feeling really kind of disillusioned with Vanguard for a long time, and I watched that stream expecting to just make fun of Vanguard or make fun of it completely and be like, "Oh, look at the stupid shit they're doing now!" Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
And then I just ended just really hyped about Standard. It was really awkward. Because I was like, man, I'm ready to like make fun of him. Haha, it'll be a good laugh. You know, I'm in Discord with everyone. We're all like, oh, let's see the stupid shit they're gonna do. Then I'm like, man, and everyone's kind of like at the same time, everyone like is freaking out. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, because it seems like that same kind of feeling you get. Like your girlfriend's like, come to this concert with me. You're like, I don't know, it's not really my thing. And then you go, you're like, fuck, I love Sarah Bareilles now. Like,
Look, man, it happens, right?
yeah. I want to. I want to see you be brave, Sarah. I want to be brave, Sarah. She wants to see me be brave. I'll be brave. But like,
And
what?
I pretty much the community had the reaction I'd expect.
Which is
meaning that,
holy shit!
there
All my
was-
cards are going out of value. But like,
Right, which we'll get to that point later, right? But they were kind of like, oh god, the game, like they're like killing off all of my cards, blah 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 blah. It's like, firstly, like if you want your cards to like your cards will retain value if you show up in play formats like G format and premium.
yeah,
Like your cards will stay needed as long as those are supported as tournaments, which Bushiroad has committed to doing.
yeah,
Secondly, I'm gonna play the fuck out of Standard. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm gonna play fucking Standard. It gives me a reason to try to get people in this game without having to explain a bunch of shit.
yeah. That's another big thing is that like the barrier for entry now. Everybody's starting from square one. Get your friends into it now. Now is
Yeah.
the time.
If you have people that you think are like vaguely interested in Vanguard and just like don't feel like dropping infinite fucking dollars on it, get them in at at V1. Like
Yeah.
get them in.
It's our time
know-
down here.
And what they're doing with how they're releasing clans is they're not doing the thing where they fucking print Kagero and Royal Paladin in every set for like 8 sets in a row, or like like in Buddy Fight where they did Dragon Worlds for like the first 8 fucking sets.
Yeah.
Like instead, they're just they're giving like, okay, here's your support, here's your support, here's your support, here's your support. And what I really hope they don't do, and this is kind of an important, like, Bushiroad, please don't fuck this up kind of thing, is don't make, like, people will gravitate toward clans simply by, like, aesthetics and playstyle.
Yes.
right?
That's exactly what I did.
Don't make each set more powerful than the last. Make them comparable and have a coherent deck. And then let the matchups solve the format for themselves.
And then after a while, then you can
Right.
escalate it a
Like-
little bit.
Once
Right.
you go through like the yearly cycle, you can start to escalate it.
Right. And you don't have to escalate it in like dramatic ways. Like, I think that was one kind of issue in Stride is like the clans who were like leading the pack, aka Gear Chronicle, were just so absurd that like every time they had to just create crazy shit to edge them out.
Well, think
And
about
there were some clans who just didn't get crazy shit, and they were like, "Oh, well, okay, I guess I'm just gonna sit back here."
Well, think about it. So first, Gear Chronicle was a clan that was created at the beginning of the G era and had to play catch up over 17 plus sets with all the other clans. So they had to kind of like hit the ground running. I hate that phrase. Hit the ground running with all of their support, and then on top of that, the themes of Stride, reaching your future, blasting ahead, and like, of course they're going to do that with the freaking Mastod clan now. Like, they're going to be like, all right, this is my ultimate future power creep. Power creep
Yeah, but
dragon.
it still took 5 sets for Gear Chronicles to actually do anything.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, that's fine. But then we had a time where it was like Gear Chronicle, like, so there were 14 G era sets, right? How many of those had Gear Chronicle on them?
or main Jira.
A lot.
Like 9 or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, at least?
Yeah.
It's just like, please. And then you look at how many had, like, Mega Colony, which might have been, like, 1.
It was a total
Or
of
2.
3.
Like
sets.
minus extra. And 2 of them were extra boosters, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was set 4, and then Genius Strategy, and then
Zoo.
Zoo Booster. The end.
Right. Which is, like, not fair at all.
Yeah. Okay, so
So-
of the main booster sets, Gear Chronicle got support in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them.
Right. All right, so I had my head in the right area.
Yeah. Yeah. You
I know
were
there was a
correct.
few without Gear Chronicle. I was 100% sure there was a few without Gear Chronicle.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember how.
Sets 3, 6, 8, 10, and 13.
Right. But if you make interesting matchups that people are forced to learn, the variance will help keep those matchups like winnable. Like, this game has variance. Use that to your advantage, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna like matchups aren't gonna be like 100-0 because you have like this bit of variance in the game. And so even if you make a matchup bad, right? The game, first of all, it's still winnable. Like, usually they just find their best chance to win, which might still look bad, but it's there.
I mean, also
And then-
with trigger sacking, there's no true 100-0 matchup ever.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just never happens. Even in Magic, there could be like disastrous matchups that are never 100-0 because your opponent gets just mauled to oblivion.
Yeah.
But like, just make them interesting. Make clans have coherent decks. Like, if you look back in old Vanguard, like some clans didn't even have coherent decks for a long ass fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, even like many sets in, there were still clans who were like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was Mega Colony doing at like GBT06 or BT06? Like, fucking who knows?
Yeah. And then like early Tachikaze was like, I eat my things and then they go back to my hand. I don't know.
I have like the decent Raptor Kernel ride chain into fucking nothing.
Yeah. and then they kind of got into it a little, like in Legion era with the Ancient Dragon stuff, like calling itself back, and then they really leaned into that with the tech booster. And now, like, what Tachikaze is supposed to be. You made it an Excel clan, which in my head is cool. You eat things, they come back, you attack with them again. Perfect. Lean into it.
What's even going to be sweeter is they're going to be able to eat now, like, 7 things.
Yeah. More
or you can like leave your Excel spaces open and like eat and call over to the other side.
Yeah. Another thing with Excel, this like really struck me, was that you can create rearguard circles for yourself, so you have something to do against Link Joker.
Yeah.
Assuming Link Joker continues with the lock mechanic, I'm not sure because we don't know.
Yeah, that's one.
Anyway.
That's one question I have for going into standard is how are they going to respond to Link Joker? Because I think they regret lock as a mechanic.
Yeah.
But lock is still kind of the defining feature of Link Joker. So I'm really curious what they do with that.
If they
Turns
go,
into an Excel clan and they go with the Messiah playstyle.
Oh God,
or
that would be hilarious.
or go full on deleters. You could do that.
Force deleters.
Yeah. Who knows? There's a lot of things they could do with it, and I just hope they don't fuck it up again.
Well, so one kind of, and this is, I guess, a weird positive, but they have so much, like, they have a lot of information over what doesn't work and what does work, or, like, what players respond to, what decks end up being good. Like, they have, like, a lot of data of, over the years for Vanguard. And so they can kind of, since clans won't be getting, like infinite support to have, quote, so many options, end quote, they can actually, like, just create the deck that people responded best with and, like, that have performed the best. Like, if they want to make Tachikaze, right, they can just make, like, some kind of, like, Gaia-ish variant without, being Gaia.
Yeah.
Because people responded to that, and that deck was good. And, the same for what people responded to with Paleman, what people responded to with Granblue, etc., rather than just forcing down whatever they tried to do the first time.
Exactly.
Which I think is really good. Or, it's kind of a weird point, because we were basically playtesters for, like, 20 sets. which is why I think the point is weird, is because, like, we were paying Bushiroad to playtest their game for 20 sets or something. But I think if the game is, like, really great in standard, I think that it could be pretty worth. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I didn't have fun. Just,
I don't know.
I wish it was better at the time.
The prospect of something new is just exciting in general.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for the beginning of Stride. I showed up around, like, GBT03. What was it like when they revealed the mechanic of it, where you're like, oh, sweet? Or was it people like, fuck, I have an extra deck now?
Same thing every time. Like, it's like, oh my god, they're adding an extra dex. Oh my god, it's going to be like Yu-Gi-Oh! Blah, blah, blah. And then people were like, I'm going to quit the game. Same thing every time somebody introduced a new mechanic.
Yeah, a lot. Although it seems like with Stride, a lot of people quit, and including a few friends of mine who didn't get back into later. But it seems like with this is people going, why not? Or,
yep.
Oh shit, no more Stride, I'm in. Like this seems like where, like, Vanguard gets a lot of groundswell, or will get a lot of groundswell, if assuming people that you tell your friends and, like, lean into it.
I think my reaction is kind of abnormal. Like, a lot of people were very upset at the reaction, and like, I think they were rightfully upset. Like it is worrisome that you release these cards like in GBT 14, and some of these cards are, like, not cheap at all. Like, Dusk is a very expensive Vanguard card.
I checked it out today, which is March 20th. Like it is $80. Yes.
Yeah, it's like $80 card, right? And that's for, like, the shitty version.
Yeah, the shitty version. Shut up. Okay.
Look, that's important, right? And so, like, and then they're like immediately like, oh, by the way, here's this format. You can't play that card. That's going to be like one of our major tournament formats. It's just kind of, it definitely feel bad, and I don't want to minimize, like, that reaction that people had where they're like, oh god, this is, like, really horrible. Well, and like, I understand that, and I guess I kind of am not really in a position to, like, say I understand, because I've mostly had my foot out the door.
Yeah.
Like you have Murakumo and 7 Cs. Like, yeah. First of all, 7 Cs is unplayable. Second of all, Murakumo's unplayable. I'm not sure which one's more unplayable. I haven't actually figured that out yet. But it's kind of like,
I think it's because a lot of people, like, especially near the end of the Stride era, the people who are still around are the people who are, like, really, dropping money and resources and learning on this game. And now it just feels like, I'll tell you a little story. So I did a D&D campaign once where we spent, like, an hour picking out our equipment and everything before the campaign started. We were like, all right, let's do it. Let's start the adventure. And then DM goes, you wake up without all your shit. What? Like, we just spent an hour picking this out. What's going on? He's like, yeah, you have none of your stuff. Like, why? Like, it was incredibly infuriating, and that's probably the same feeling that people were getting at the prospect of this. Granted, there is the premium format, so it's not like you have to burn all of your cards. You still have something. Me personally, I'm gonna keep a deck for premium, and I'm gonna pick a different clan for standard. That's how it's gonna work. The end.
I think I'm just gonna build multiple decks in standard, like
Yeah, that's
because like my hope is that like matchups will be important, so like you'll want to play multiple clans, and like so deck choice will be like super super important. Like if you like if like Kagero is good against fucking Nova Grappler or some shit, that's like reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's fucking playing Kagero. You're like, oh well, maybe I'll just play OTT and like meme these Kagero guys.
Yeah. Not that
like,
hopefully it won't be a rock paper scissors type thing too much, but yeah.
I mean, it might feel that way like with the first set only because there are only 4 clans.
Yeah.
But like as more sets get added, this of course is going to get more complicated.
Yeah. Or as
this is
the one good thing that the Big Bang Theory has contributed to the world, which is rock paper scissors lizard Spock. Like that has some dimension.
So ignoring the Big Bang Theory because I don't want to give them any credit. It's not even a true rock paper scissors because the matchups aren't like 100-0, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh well, the Kagero player against OTT might be like, okay, well here are the openings I need to look for. Here's the thing I kind of want to induce him to do, induce them to do, and to try to like find your avenue to win the game or create pressure.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's like just an outright loss. It's like I don't even know if this is like a matchup that might be good. I'm just kind of like giving an idea of what the case an example might be. But like just like Kagero guy or Kagero player flips up the starting or watches his opponent flip up the starting Vanguard and is like, oh god. It's one of these games. But yeah, I mean, I just hope that something like that occurs rather than everyone flips up like Carbon or whoever the fuck they play at this point.
Cartman, like
no.
Okay.
I don't actually know who like Chaos plays at this point. I assume they still play that fucking guy.
Oh, it's the Chaos thing where you kill it and check top 7. I think for a Chaos. Yeah.
Oh sure.
I think some people play Carbon in the main deck though, for some reason. Because you go like Colony Maker into Carbon into something else, so you build Soul. Whatever.
Sure.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I hope that there is like a cool reason to run like multiple starters, like because like that's a choice you could make in the middle of a game, or like in the middle of like a best of 3, right?
Yeah, where you go,
you just be like, here's my starter.
Yeah.
And you just change starters completely, and so like giving them effects that like might be that are like generic enough to be good, but like specific enough to want to have earlier could be like. I don't know like a good example of that ability, but
I have a good example. So at least in G-Era, I run Happiness Collector and Pillman, which is a Forerunner, and then I also run Cat Knight and High Boots, which is not. If I'm playing against Kagero and I see them flip up the Conroe, game 2, I'm going, all right, I'm putting Cat Knight and High Boots as my starter, so he can't Gatling Claw it right away. Like that's just like a very like boring example, but it's an example. So. What?
Instead, it just gets defeat flared.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Happens.
It happens.
So,
in terms of premium, do you think there's going to be like, are people going to be like, all right, I'm just going to ride the gift thing, get the gifts, and then just stride on top of it, and then that's how it's going to be? Like, how do you visualize premium in your heads?
Well, for a while, premium is going to be like. If the gift thing, like, it's going to be a lot of using generic strides.
Yeah.
Which is going to hurt a lot of clans who had, like, really bad strides. Or, like, really, like, specific, like, archetype strides.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be they're likely not going to be usable with the new cards.
Yeah.
But, like, if you look at stuff like Gans, like, the new Ganslot stride for blasters, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second, this is still good.
Yeah, because it looks for Alfred or Blaster, so you're like, all right, cool.
So, like, I have a Blaster Blade with plus 10k, and then I can countercharge, and then I still have my Flogall, so now I have a 20k Blaster Blade just sitting there.
Yeah, and well, Flogall now has a downside. It's a 5 crit.
Yeah. I'm guessing like they're gonna start with just vanilla triggers, and then over time, like every game, they're just gonna add effects. But like at the beginning, that's actually a choice there. Do you go, do I want this effect, or do I want 2 to pass to mean potentially 1 to pass?
it was really easy to choose to use the effects of triggers when the trigger's guard didn't really mean much. Like 10k shield is like important early, but when you get in the mid game, you don't actually give a shit. Because your opponent's just striding for like 50k or whatever. Your 10k shield probably doesn't mean that much.
Yeah.
Like it's like PG or no guard.
Yeah.
Or some G Guardian and plus something.
I mean, being a 15k shield does help with rear guards, because a lot of stuff's like hitting 21.
Well, being a 15k shield helps when your opponent's not swinging at you for 70k.
Yeah, that too.
Like, if my opponent has like a 28k rear guard column on my 13k Vanguard, right? A 15k shield is like decently large, or like two 10ks at least. Like, you're like grade 1, grade 2, got it.
Yeah.
Or like trigger grade 2, trigger intercept, got it. Like, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Alright. Critical triggers are now as good as Murakumo G guards.
Please. Please.
Hey, your strategy of vanilla guarding with heals will work better than actually G guarding now because they're worth 20k.
Right? So absurd. Like, just how bad Murakumo G guards are. Their best G guard, by the way, is a 25k shield for CB1. And it requires you to be GB1 already.
Yeah. Also, I mean, granted, you do, like, Murakumo is an Excel clan, which in my head is the best gift, at least on paper. And has a character playing them, I guess, semi-regularly. Granted, he's a jobber, but it's something.
You'll get your support within the first 4 months, so that's something, I guess.
So, the clans I want to play, like, as of now, are, like, something in the first set. I'll pick one of the 4. I'm kind of leaning between Kagura or OTT. I'm not sure which one I'm going to land on. Mm-hmm. But it definitely will be one of those two, because I just don't care enough to play Royals. And I definitely don't care enough to play Nova Grappler.
Yeah.
I definitely am going to play Dimension Police.
That makes sense.
And I'm probably going to play Murakumo.
I mean, my 3 main clans, which are Tachikaze, Pale Moon, and Great Nature, I'm going to do all that, because Pale Moon and Tachikaze come out in the same set, and they come out pretty early, so I can just jump on that train pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay, but, like, which gift do you think is the best? On paper, as of right now. And
so
you can change your answer for formats too. So, like, for example, you can say this is better for premium, this is better for standard. But
Excel's probably going to be really nuts in standard.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not standard. Well, I think Excel is like really nuts as a whole.
Yeah.
Which is why when a nameless person said that they think that Excel will get front triggers, I was like, I think it might be the opposite of that.
I mean, they've already confirmed that Nova Grappler has front triggers.
Oh, okay. So it is so Nova Grappler is one of them. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
My apologies, man.
Which is unfortunate. Honestly, if they're gonna give it to Excel clans, they might as well just give it to everyone. Like
I think the Excel clans would be like the one where it's like maybe.
Yeah. Like, the way they've described each gift right now, I feel like they're not giving Protect clans fronts, which would be terrible.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's the way Bushiroad is thinking, which is stupid, because front triggers are still really good defensively, because you can protect all your rear guards with it.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I think that front triggers are pretty good, and I think Excel is very good. Mm-hmm. I just think to have extra front row attacks is like really insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think Force is going to be really good in clans that can kind of reuse circles over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Where and I think Excel might be, they might try to make Excel poor against clans that can attack multiple things, retire front row. Basically, like, if they do, like, a Vermilion retrain, right?
Yeah.
Like, Excel clans probably don't want to see that.
Yeah. There was a meme that came out. I can't... What's the strive with the big scythe? Where you flip and kill a front row, and then everybody...
Conquest.
Yeah. So, there was a meme where it's like, Excel gives you a new rearguard circle, and then it's like your front row gets 5k for every open rearguard circle. And he's like... Yes, So
and they can still keep playing with that too. so.
Yeah. So at least in premium, I think, ironically, I think Protect is the best in premium because Guard Restrict is so prevalent now that being able to have like a silver bullet against that is very helpful. Like, Dark Irregular seems like they would be the best to utilize it, at least knowing what clans are where now. Because you can be like, alright, I have Guard Restrict on you, and I can protect myself against Guard Restrict from you. So, suck it.
Oh, I should say that if Dark Irregulars is a Mon, I might play Dark Irregulars.
I can see that.
But only if it's a Mon.
It probably will be.
Judging by the stuff they released early, I could see that happening. So,
Yep.
maybe.
I mean, worst case, I'll just play it in the phone game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they also released a phone game, which that'll be its own episode that we'll get into.
We also don't know shit, so
Yeah,
that's it.
That's what we'll get into it. It's future tense. so later.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think for my answer for standard is Excel by itself on paper is the best one, and in premium, Protect is the best one on paper.
Yeah, I think I would say something similar to that.
I think Force is going to be really sweet in spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Force is probably going to be the most flexible, which is why they call it balanced, quote unquote.
Yeah, because you can put it on Van or Rearguard Circle, or if you rewrite, you can put 2 on the front row, so you have that going, or you can double it on your Van. Like, there's so many things you can do with it.
I have this thing, right? If they make retiring units very cheap, it could be that Force becomes very good and Excel becomes very bad.
How so? Oh, if it's
Like
cheap,
if like they make retiring units like dirt cheap, like Excel could just become like, oh, I don't want to overextend that much.
Yeah.
Or like Excel could be, I'm going to set up for like a turn.
Like, considering the old school Nova grapplers had a pretty hard time with advantage, that might be what they're going for.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully they're actually doing real play testing and
I hope so.
And figure this out for us.
Instead of making us figure it out.
Although, at least in the start deck, the Kagura retire card costs 2 counterblasts.
Oh god. Is it retire the board?
No, it's just counterblast 2, retire a thing.
Berserk Dragon?
We've returned to the days of Gwyn the Ripper. It's
What is this? Okay, this can't be the real card. No, this can't be how they're going to do this.
Speaking of which, so some cards I feel like if they were to reprint them in the standard sets, meaning that you can use them in standard format, I think that would be A, you don't have to spend as much time designing new cards, and B, would make decks like more fun. The biggest things that come to mind are Darkside Princess and Tank Mammoth. Like, you would have to up their power a little bit because of, moving things up, but I think that would be really neat. What do you think?
I don't know.
Nothing.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. It might be cool.
I don't know.
I just want like a fun and like interesting game where I get to make actual decisions that affect the game.
Mm-hmm.
And my opponent is also forced to make decisions. Like, I feel like I'm asking a lot here.
I don't think that's asking a lot at all. You want a fun game that allows you to not get beaten by a dog, basically.
Well, I mean, I just don't want my deck to always do this. Like, I want my deck to be consistent, but still have decisions to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of hard, but
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. In terms of, like, the stuff they revealed, like, so far we have, you have a Naichi and Kai trial deck, so Royal Paladin and Kagero. You have the first set, which is Royals, Kagero, OTT, and Nova Grappler. And then, I gotta look at the full release schedule again.
Okay. The first extra booster is Spike Brothers, Tachikaze, and Mega Colony.
Thank you very much.
In August, we'll get a trial deck for Aqua Force and a booster with Aqua Force, Grand Blue, and D-Police. And then in September, we get Shadow Paladin trial deck, and then a set with Shadows, Dark Irregulars, Pale Moon, and Murakumo.
Perfect. Looking good. And I mean, my beloved Great Nature isn't revealed when it's coming out yet, but I have like 2 things to sink my teeth into by the time summer hits, so I'm happy.
The question is, do I care about Tachikaze?
It's up to you, my man.
I'll make that decision when they start showing cards. How about that?
I mean, I'm definitely getting into OTT again.
That's fair.
Only top tier.
Yeah, so and anything else to add about this aside from the fact that we now have things to talk about and I don't have to stretch for topics? Yay.
No, this is fucking great is what it is.
Yeah. This is amazing. Like,
And
Stride is just so bloated and overpowered right now. It's ridiculous. It is profoundly unfun for me to play.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Yep. So,
Also, I'm still gonna make fun of people for playing stuff like Mega Colony.
I mean, yeah, man. As like Token Rambo is no longer the punching bag. We can make fun of old things again. It's great. What?
Bermuda. I was really upset so today is Tuesday the 20th, and the stream was this morning, and I was really upset to wake up to beat Bermuda Triangle reveals, and I was like, oh my god.
I feel kind of bad for Bermuda Triangle just because they get squashed by everyone freaking out about the gift stuff.
Well, because they got a Megiddo with alternate art.
Yeah, I saw, and it's literally just like a normal Bermuda-looking card, just with the name and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really just wanted the same dragon with the bathing suit, really bad.
I mean, if you didn't see the Dragon Girl Megiddo coming, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, we all knew it was coming, but we're all disappointed that it did.
Yeah, it's kind of like how I really wanted Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be about like a shitty office comedy just with Marvel stuff going on in the background, but instead it's like a serious tie-in with the Marvel universe. I'm like, oh, boring. I wanted like, hey, did you fill out the insurance form for the Avengers fight? No, I didn't yet. Are you going to Applebee's over lunch? You know it, playa, and then the fucking theme song. Like, that didn't happen, and I'm sad. Like, ugh. All right, so speaking of things we make fun of, it is time for our favorite segment, Can't Believe You Said That. Wait, you're kidding, right? All right. So
what you got?
Well, okay, so referring back to the thing at the very beginning of the show, basically, to the people who subscribe to the Nexus Core YouTube channel, other people, other colleagues of ours, Gabe, Miles, and Jose, released, I guess, their own podcast. Gabe didn't tell me, and I just woke up to it one morning, and they were talking about the exact same topic we're talking about. So I'm naturally, like, panicking, because we were planning this last week, and then I just, like, we're Charlie Brown, and he's Lucy with the football. And so they talked about the same thing, but they were all memey, because that's what they do. And, like, Gabe is good at that, and I'm not. So I try and be more serious. And so, in the YouTube comments of this video...
Mistake.
Yeah. Can I say his name if it's not, like, a person's name?
No.
Okay, fine. Go look at the comments for yourself, you'll find it. But it says, so this is Nexus at night, but not a wallpaper. To those who don't consume this podcast on YouTube, I put up every episode on YouTube, but just with the logo, and there's no visuals to look at. Let me explain something to you. Person, this is a podcast that you listen to.
With your ears.
With your ears. There is nothing to watch. The point of a podcast is like while you're driving or doing chores or, you know, doing your job, which I'm guessing you do none of those things because you don't know what a fucking podcast is. So, like, I know, I like to think, like, oh, I got a thick skin. This really got to me. I was like, dude, you know what? Okay, I'm all right. I'm okay.
I mean, even if there was video, who wants to stare at three assholes sitting at a table talking into microphones, not actually doing anything?
I mean, apparently the other people, because it has over 1,000 views at the time of recording this. But, it just look. I'm in L.A. Root Beer's in San Francisco. Matt's in Maryland. You would have to see us just talking on Skype. I'm sitting in front of a blank wall and I'm not wearing pants. Do you really want to see that? Like, I made a T-shirt that says, "How do we know if podcasters wear pants?" Answer: you don't, because we don't. Like,
wait, but now they know.
Now they. Well, I mean, some days, some weeks I wear pants, some weeks I don't. It depends on when we record.
Oh.
The point is, just if you're expecting to tune into a podcast and watch something, you're doing it. Like I am like. I hope to God this guy never gets a time machine, because he's going to go back to the 20s and be like, how come you're just staring at the radio? How come there's no picture? I don't get it.
These kids, they don't know. And also, your mistake was even reading YouTube comments.
Look, I was having a really bad day, and then I just decided to make myself feel worse, or I don't know.
So you had a bad day.
Take one down. Yeah. I'm not singing anything.
Aww. Upset.
Yeah. No, man, no, you got to come down to the Karma Lounge for that. Drunken karaoke on Mondays. Although...
Well, this random shout-out.
It's also my favorite place to do comedy, but that might be not the case soon. So that's all. That was also like one of the things I heard yesterday that was like really... that was getting to me.
I see.
Do you guys have any of your own to show this week?
Not this week. I mostly just avoided people talking about the thing because I already knew that they were just mad and they were just But I was talking on Discord quite a bit about the new stuff, and I think a lot of people have are starting to turn toward being excited for the new stuff rather than upset.
Well, because the Vanguard's good at everything, at anything. It's freaking out whenever something new gets revealed.
Mm-hmm.
And either because
I mean that's every card game really. People don't like change.
It feels like when the stuff first got revealed, you had the people who were either like Matt, 1 foot out the door, or not playing, or like me, who are bored. They were like, fucking awesome, count me in. And then the other half of the people were like, it's Black Tuesday, I have to sell all my stocks or I'm going to lose my house. Like, just everybody lost their shit in one way or another, either out of excitement or fear. But, I don't know. This looks like a good thing, and I'm excited for the Nexus at Night episodes ahead. I don't know about you guys.
Also, the last and most important news that was announced during this product stream, Bermuda Triangle has an anime now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I totally...
Love Live. Fish Edition.
This is clearly the most important news out of everything we've discussed today, and everyone should watch the Bermuda Triangle animation once it comes out.
Nexus at Night, the Bermuda Triangle anime podcast. What?
If it's a Love Life clone with Bermuda characters, I'll probably watch it.
Same.
What is Love Life?
Okay. You have homework, Atlas. You should watch the first 3 episodes of Love Life.
Look. I already get shat on enough by other podcasters for making a podcast about a goddamn card game.
Alright, look. A lot of people have podcasts about card games.
Yeah.
Probably these other podcasts are less successful than some of these podcasts about card games. Who knows?
I don't know. We're a very niche market. Also, speaking
of
Vanguard
specifically is, yes.
Yeah, go listen to Drive Check if you haven't already. Since I mentioned other Vanguard podcasts, they're our sister show, I guess you could say, or more like a rival. There's multiples, yeah. It's us two, and then that's it.
All right.
And I guess this third thing that I now have to compete against it's like Nexus Core Civil War. That'd be something interesting to talk about. Anyway, you can find us on Twitter at Nexus at Night if you want to tweet us episode ideas or screen caps for Can't Believe You Said That, or I'm going to be referring to it as CBIST from now on because I try to acronym everything. You can follow me at Atlas Novak.
Follow me at Wiggums, 2 G's, 2 Z's.
You can follow me at Plasma Eclipse or go on my blog, lightningfish.wordpress.com.
He actually wrote a Vanguard thing this week, which was referring to what we were just talking about, and I'll admit it, I was like reading parts of it when talking today. So thanks for the cheat sheet, my dude.
No problem.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed this new look at the future because we're excited about it. Until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everyone.